This video is brought to you in association with kingwin.net. Oh my god, it's Deus Ex! Oh my god, it's Deus Ex! It's Deus Ex, oh my god! Well, it's been 5 years since Human Revolution came out, which means it's time to go headfirst back into the bright, yet oppressive world of the Deus Ex prequels. For the purpose of this video, I'll only really talk about any new stuff that's come up instead of covering the whole damn thing and saying stuff that you already knew. Given the wording of that last paragraph, you'll be able to come to the conclusion that Mankind Divided is a lot like Human Revolution. And in short, yes it is. The majority of the combat, how you manage and upgrade your stats, movement and travel, and what the story requires of you is very similar to that of Human Revolution. Having said that, instead of taking the safe approach and not adding anything to the existing formula, Mankind Divided has expanded on all of those areas, and though the conversion process from Human Revolution to this might take some getting used to initially, it all makes sense once you've made sense of it all, if that statement itself made any sense. Set 2 years after Human Revolution, mechanical augmentations have become shunned by the rest of society, following what happened at Panchaea. Augmented citizens are treated as second-class citizens and are often discriminated against or completely segregated from non-augmented people, meaning that mankind is divided.
He said it! He said it!
You once again take on the role of Adam Jensen, now based in Prague. With tensions high, augmented extremist groups have begun to pop up, and it's your job as an Interpol agent to get to the bottom of this before anyone gets hurt. Naturally, in keeping with the Deus Ex style, this will inevitably lead you to several conspiracies, as well as coming into contact with the Illuminati once more. The majority of the game takes place in Prague, with a few exceptional missions thrown in, and Prague itself acts a lot like Detroit, Hampshire, and the likes from Human Revolution. Given that Prague is pretty much the only place here, it's naturally quite big, including several parks, places of interest, the metro lines, red light district, tourist areas, back alleyways, and more. Unfortunately, no Pokestop areas though. The city itself is divided into several sections, which makes up the entire Prague hub, as certain missions will only play out in certain districts, and in order to travel between them, you'll need to use the metro. And like the cities of Human Revolution, the city itself here is absolutely beautiful. Human Revolution was quite a dark game, as if everything that happened took place at night. However, we now get to walk the streets of Prague during the day as well as at night, bringing out its colour and features. Graphically, this game is stunning. It's easily one of the most graphically well-designed games I've ever played, with everything from the streets of Prague to the policemen's uniforms looking very eye-catching. Oh, speaking of the police, who wants to talk about racism? Given that augmented men and women have been oppressed, there's a lot of aug racism and discrimination going on at almost every corner of the map. Non-augmented citizens will cuss at you as you walk past them. There are ghettos designed specifically for segregating augmented citizens. I noticed this in the train station, human and augmented separate access ways, and the police... Oh, the police. They will stop you constantly and ask for identification.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch!
But though racism is a bad thing, I want to make that clear because I don't want to get into trouble on this one, it does, however, add this incredible atmosphere to the game. You can really feel that tensions are high and that the shit could hit the fan any second. Though this gives the in-game Prague a bad name, it does give it a lot of depth and meaning, giving you the feeling that stuff is going on outside of camera shot. This has a huge impact on immersion, as it makes us feel like we are actually in a living, breathing world, rather than just a video game world or something out of the Truman Show. The actual combat is relatively the same as it was from the last time. You've now got access to new augmentations, such as bullet time and force lightning, on top of all the stuff from Human Revolution. You can now remote hack security installations instead of having to find a terminal through the use of a minigame, though you can still use a terminal if you don't have the hacking requirements. See, this is what I love about Deus Ex. There's never only one way of doing things. If you can't get past a door, then either hack it, blow it up, or find a hidden passage that takes you round it. There are so many choices that you can only get stuck if you lack an imagination. Leveling up is the same as before, as is your movement and the cover mechanic. Actually, the cover mechanic now allows you to sprint quickly to other areas of cover, which helps in tight situations. There's also a crafting element to this game, of course there is, which allows you to construct certain items and allows you to upgrade your existing weapons by spending craftable materials that you find throughout the game. And when I say find throughout the game, I mean breaking into other people's apartments and stealing everything that isn't nailed to the floor. It's not a huge mechanic, but it's there should you feel the need to improve your gear. You can also swap gun attachments and abilities with ease now. Simply holding down a button will allow you to make weapon adjustments on the fly. It kind of reminds me of the same mechanic from Crysis, but it's cool to have and makes things simples. As always, the stealth is sweet, with many stealth-centered augmentations existing that allows you to pick and choose your approach. The lethal and non-lethal takedowns makes a return, some of which are impressive to watch, though seeing the same ones play out over and over again gets stale very quickly. However, seeing as this is 2016 and that means that every f***ing game requires a multiplayer mode, we've now got Breach. Breach allows you to compete online in several modes, including stealth modes, where you have to obtain data from different nodes, speedruns, and more. Here you can level up your online avatar, like in the single player mode, and be able to do more against other players. I honestly found the online mode fun to begin with, but the novelty wore off quite quickly. It's not bad, but I guess it's not really my cup of tea, so I won't try criticising it, as it'll be a biased opinion. On a negative note though, and cue the actual rant section of this video, but there were a couple of things that, well, didn't piss me off, but were quite noticeable. First off are the loading times when travelling from one area to another. As mentioned, Prague is divided into several hub sections, and you'll need to use the metro in order to get to where you want to go. The thing is though, that instead of getting a loading screen, you'll instead be treated to a cutscene of Jensen standing on the train doing nothing. Now, this wouldn't be an issue at all if the loading times weren't so long. In fact, at times it feels like a legit subway ride, which means, yes, this game is actually Subway Commuting Simulator 2016. I mean, look how long this trip takes. Another thing that comes to mind is the game's plot. Now, on its own, it's not bad. However, considering where this came from, I'd have to say it's the weakest plot in the entire series. Not including The Fall, because that game was awful, but definitely including Invisible War. Let's compare this to Human Revolution. In that game, the beginning was very strong, with an attack on Sarif Industries and with you losing most of your body. This puts you in the frame of mind that this is all gearing up towards something big and that the shit will hit the fan big time later on in the game, which it does. In contrast though, the shit hits the fan near the start of Mankind Divided, and the rest of the plot just kind of feels a little on the limp side. Now, this is not to say that the story of Mankind Divided is bad, it's certainly not, however, there is a sense of disappointing formality to it, as we go from point A to point B, with the occasional globetrot thrown in. Considering the stories of Human Revolution, the original Deus Ex, and Invisible War, yeah, I went there, then Mankind Divided just seems lacking in that department. Also, the ending just kind of came and went. I know that Deus Ex is well known for endings that are a little on the disappointing side, but this one just wrapped everything up before anything decent could get going. The whole thing just feels less like a new major Deus Ex entry, and more like another chapter in the Adam Jensen Chronicles. Not that this next thing is a legit criticism, but one of the characters called me a bellend quite early on in the game. You start off in Dubai on a mission where you have to take down Commander Shepard, but then all of a sudden, the augmented shit hits the fan, and you've got to stop this helicopter from taking off. However, because there was no time limit on the screen, I just took my time killing Hansers. Yeah, that's right, I'm using Deus Ex lingo. But what I didn't realise was that you also had to protect this other guy, which I didn't know about until he got wasted, and then cue the unnecessary bellend comment.
Oh, good fucking job, Jensen, you fucking bellend!
Why am I the bellend? There were plenty of other soldiers near him, so why are they exempt? Probably my last criticism has to be the lip sync and facial animations. There's something so wrong with it. The voice acting is top notch, but I can't take this game seriously when one character is giving a convincing speech, but his lips are saying... It kind of ruins the immersion a little bit, especially if cool stuff was happening beforehand and if you were invested in the story. In conclusion, get this game. Yes, the story is a slight letdown and it might call you a bellend at some point, but that's nothing compared to the hours of enjoyment that I had with this title. Very entertaining and a great addition to the franchise. And that's all we've got time for, but wait! Before you go, I've got an announcement, so listen up, mongrels, because this may interest you. Now, you may be wondering what that whole thing at the start of the video was all about. Well, that's because TrueView has teamed up with the handsome fellows at kingwin.net. No, not that one. And we've got a special announcement for you. So out, shut up! If you're a fan of Deus Ex, or if you've watched this video and are liking what you're seeing, well, how would you like to get your very own copy for free? If a free game for free, which is free, is something that tickles your fancy, then here's what you'll need to do. Head on over to kingwin.net by clicking the link in the description below and following the instructions there. All you'll need to do is basically like us both on social media. Which isn't me selling out, because I've been telling you to do that for years now. There is only one giveaway key, so make sure that you've entered. In addition, if you weren't selected, then by going to Kingwin and entering the promotional codes TRUE, TRU3, that's 3 not an A, then you'll be entitled to a 3% discount on a Steam key for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. This offer is only available until Tuesday the 6th of September, with the winner being announced the next day, so get in there quick my sons and daughters. So, click that link, click it, for your chance to win your very own copy of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. And now that's really all we've got time for, so this rant is done. See ya!
Sometimes I think this life is killing me. Sometimes I think this life is killing me.